Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another session of MyTrade's Beyond Connections, our bi-weekly show in which we are giving you a chance to ask the research department of Apple Securities and MyTrade your burning questions about the stock market. Happy Thursday, everyone. I'm Beth, one of the research analysts, and with me today is.
Hi, I'm Herman, one of the analysts.
I'm Rainier, one of the analysts as well. I'm Isaiah, one of the tech analysts for MyTrade.
Okay. Ding, ding. I think that's the moment. Coming into our live today. So while we wait for your questions, let's see who's in the chat box. Blue Brawl Gears, yo yo yo. Happy Thursday, then LB De La Cruz. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so while we wait for your questions, what do you want to start the discussion with today, Herman? You mentioned something earlier.
Yeah, so just to recap, so the PSEI ended today at 6,903, and this is up by 5.79 points, equivalent to 0.08% gain for today. And some of the winners for today in the index are GT Cap, Bloom, MBT, AV, and ALI. So, what do you think drove these stocks for today? So, you're starting on GT Cap.
Yes, for GT Cap and Metro Bank. GT Cap, of course, owns a substantial stake in Metro Bank, which is their banking arm of the T's. Metro Bank this morning disclosed their full year earnings results, which showed a 42.2 billion net income for 2023, which is in line with consensus estimates. Fourth quarter growth, meanwhile, is at just 12%, which is much slower than their big three peer that announced earnings a few weeks ago. So the earnings growth of Metro Bank is driven still by loan growth of 7.6%, which is in line with industry average. But we also noticed that their net interest margin has declined in the fourth quarter compared to the previous quarters. It fell to our estimate is about 3.7% from 4.1% in the third quarter. So going forward, we believe the net interest margins for Metro Bank will decline further. So our outlook is not as positive, although Metro Bank also declared cash dividends today for the whole year now. So 5 pesos total for the whole year. So that provided some boost to the stock price today. So they're paying out total of 3 pesos and 50 centavos in March. That including a 1 peso and 50 centavo regular dividend and 2 pesos special dividend. And then another 150 should be declared sometime in the second half. So that probably also redounded positively to GT Cap, which was also one of the gainers today. If you're still not sick of my voice, it's also probably benefiting from strong vehicle sales that was reported earlier this week. So in January, vehicle sales grew by 15%, which is quite strong, especially considering that January usually is a slow month for car sales, since it is right after the Christmas period where there are a lot of promos and marketing discounts for a lot of the car distributors. That's positive for GCAP as well. So who are the other top gainers?
Okay, so aside from GT Cap and MBT, we have Bloom, AV, and Ali. So for Bloom, I think this is in anticipation of upcoming Q4 earnings. So PAGCO recently disclosed very, very strong industry gross gaming revenues. So this has positive implications on Bloom. So I think that's what driving the stock price as of recent. And then for AV and AV, any ideas on this topic?
AV is probably benefiting from the upcoming closure of the deal with for the Coca-Cola Bottlers Philippines. I forget anong quarter siya expected to happen.
I think it's expected to happen around mid-year for them to close the deal. And the expectation here is AEV will already feel, or basically the transaction will already be value accretive for the conglomerate, especially given the outlook for Coke Philippines, and given sugar prices are also have also been lower compared to the previous years. It is expected to be margin accretive as well for the conglomerate.
Okay, and then lastly for Ali, I think it was also one of the top gainers for today and for the recent days. This because of its recent earnings performance. So full year reached 24.5 billion pesos in net income, and this is 33% higher year on year, and it's slightly ahead of consensus estimates. So I think this is what's driving the stock as of recent. However, uh, for me, I think for this year, consensus estimates are a bit too high. So I think downgrades are in store for the stock. So we are currently not that bullish on AFA. So maybe we can move on to the questions.
Okay, let's start with the technical one. Since you already have these fundamental analysts for a long time already. From LB de la Cruz, a technical analysis and review. Please share your profit and cut loss for Chica, PLC, FNC, and Converge.
So it's a recommendation. We can
Just
discuss the
up
trend.
the chart.
Price. Okay. So GT cap only pulled back briefly from the here's through the ascending channel. It doesn't extend it for me at least. We still prefer to buy it closer to say average, say the 50-day moving average, at the risk of being left behind. That's just for me personally. I think it's not.
PLC.
PLC. PLC. PLC is still maintaining this ascending channel. You may want to lighten closer to 80 cents or 77 cents at resistance. At a dividend yield of 7% trading. What's the next one?
SMC.
SMC.
And just to add for PLC, I think that's the same. Has the same drivers for Boom as well, since PLC is the one operating in City of Dreams, and the expected dividends for PLC, since it's known for it to be a dividend stock, and around this season or the upcoming April, they're likely to post dividends or announce dividends, which should be beneficial for holders, and it might reach what I mentioned, the targets, and could lighten. So SMC.
FMC is trading in a very wide ascending range, closer to, if you wanted to purchase it, it'd be closer to support at about 103 pesos to, yeah, about 103 pesos support. If you're looking to buy.
And then lastly, Converge.
Lastly,
And Converge. So Converge, bullish case for Converge is bullish falling wedge, and potentially double bottom here with a breakout above 30 to complete the reversal. Rough measured move would be about 13 pesos and 74 centavos.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, next question from Annie Lynn. Good afternoon. This is to clarify. Can you put up the question in the screen? Yeah. Regarding MSCI rebalance effective February 29, may I know if I want to buy MREIT, when is the best time to buy? Is it at the close of February 29? So the MSCI rebalancing, where SPNEC will be replacing MREIT in the small cap indices. This will be implemented on March 1, but that means the last day to trade will be on February 29. So best time to buy if you want to buy a REIT would be on February 29, last few minutes ago. But we have observed that the funds that are following the MSCI indices in recent years have spread out their rebalancing efforts. So not really sure if there will be very large movement on the last day, but possible, but we'll see some volatility closer to that implementation date. Maybe fundamentally, you can talk about them.
For MREIT, if you look at its quarterly dividends, we've observed quarter-on-quarter decline because of determinations in some of its BPO tenants because of the reversion to work from home. So because of that, we still prefer RCR, although MREIT will be attractive at around 13 pesos. That may be the price levels that you may want to look.
Okay, next question. Another technical analysis question from Yari. 082. Okay. 4 more stocks, I see.
Four more
SSI. And when it's provided the chart, maybe you can talk about SSI.
Okay, so for SSI, what I see is preparing for SI, continually been driving, it's all continuously been driven by its recovery of beyond, basically 2023 was a good year for SSI. They have fixed a lot of their issues before. So, for example, in inventory, they have continually closed down some of its non-performing stores, and now margins as well as top line growth has been continuous and looks to be sustained for 2023. Net income for the past 3 quarters are basically in the 9 months have been record highs of those periods, and then fourth quarter 2023 is expected to also to trend the same, most likely record high. So it will be a good barrier for 2023 and 2024. It's something to watch out for, and might explain some of the share price movement. I think.
So as far as the stock prices performed recently, right, the resistance at 3 pesos 33 cents. The next support will be about 2 pesos and 90 cents. Alternate this.
And then CNTS.
But just to add for SSI, has completed basically a good turnaround since it also was affected by the pandemic heavily since much of their sales before were coming from basically sales or from its in-house or from its brick and mortar stores. So now they've completed that recovery and striving much better compared to pre-pandemic and even post-pandemic levels. Next for CNP.
CNC. Let's So CNPF has had a good, CNPF has had a good run. It's trading outside the bands, so it's a little bit, its price point a little bit extended. But the trend is still up. And until it breaks the 50-day, moving average, it will likely continue.
We didn't talk about Bloom technical analysis earlier, no, but you did discuss Bloom earlier. PA na lang, nice.
I'm sorry. Bloom. So Bloom is in a long-term uptrend. It's encountering resistance at the 12 pesos and 6 centavos level. It's up. Possibly look to buy on dip near support. 10 pesos 70 cents. What do you think?
For FP and discuss.
Okay, next, we have
Check.
Siguro I forgot to mention yung kay Bloom kanina. Si Bloom siguro those who are interested to add or initiate positions can wait after Q1 results are already reported. We expect some dividend earnings because of the opening of Solera North. And it should be accompanied by higher depreciation expenses. So therefore, those who are interested to buy, you can wait at 1070. I see. Yeah, that's
More of it.
yes. Cheap then.
This is China back, so you can see the channel was established since 2020. It's a little bit overbought in the near term, so try to buy closer to the support. Stay at 50-day moving average, which is go to M8 for buy support.
okay, thank you, I see.
And then last is ABA.
Oh, I think the last stop of it.
So ABBA was got a heavy selling in about August last year. It's recently formed the reverse head and shoulders. It's the pattern suggests a target of about 1 peso 72 centavos, but you'll likely encounter some resistance at the 200 moving average. So support is at 1 peso 11 cents.
Okay, next question from LB de la Cruz again. Thoughts on SNC regarding the NAIA project and Marigo funding?
Okay. For SMP, actually, we wrote about this recently in our case report. So to explain briefly, considering the huge initial capital investments and yearly fees, and if you juxtapose that with the earnings from the NAIA project, we don't think this will create a huge significant return on the part of. So, however, this should give him the tools to learn more on how to operate an airport project, especially for his upcoming Bulacan airport project. So SMC should maybe might be his training ground, but in terms of returns, we're not really seeing any significant returns on for the NAIA project. So for the Maharlika funding, and touch the guys.
I think there's still a lot of uncertainty, especially going back to the NAE project. I think there are articles even stating, I guess, questioning uh, the selection of the SMC group in terms of, I guess, their partners as well, since they're not mostly known as operators for airports. So there have been a lot of questions on, I guess, not only on the SMC side, but also on the regulatory side of them picking the SMC group. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty currently that we should see some light moving forward, and something to watch out for, both for the NAIA project and the Maharlika funding. So no definite details yet for the so impact on SMC. I think, as you can see on its stock price, not really much happening, and volumes aren't really there for the SMC.
Okay.
Are there more questions?
Yeah, that's
Hello from Hong Kong.
Yes.
So do you. But we have calculated the list of stocks.
Just a list of stuff.
So, and one of these they want to comment on. So there are 3 REITs.
I think that's your entire portfolio. You can pick up I 3 lang. 6.
SPNet was recently added to the MSCI list. So that should, the stock already reacted when it was first announced last week. But we should see maybe some more positive movement closer to the implementation date. But in our backtesting or observation of previous additions and deletions from the MSCI indices, usually the positive impact on additions tends to dissipate in the weeks and months after the addition to the index. And also the small cap index, in which SPNet was added, is not as followed as the standard or larger cap index of the MSCI. So that makes the probability that any positive impact on SPNet closer to March 1 or February 29 could quickly evaporate. Is that the right term? So although long term we're still positive on SPNet.
Yes, that's right. And siguro we'll focus on the REITs that you mentioned. So among those 3, fill rate has the highest offered upside compared to RTR and CREIT. And I think this is just to compensate for its lowest occupancy levels compared to its distant peers. So for me personally, I would go for more quality assets as compared to higher yields. So for me, RCR, I prefer RCR and CREIT. So its yields, their yields right now are at around 7.5 to 7.8%. But cash flows are more steady and predictable because of their relatively higher occupancy rates. And if you compare their current portfolio with those of their parents' gross leasable area, there's still a lot of room for growth now. So that should be positive for these 2 stocks. And lastly, for CREIT, CCREC has a very ambitious pipeline project now. So currently it has around 118 megawatts, and they aspire to expand it further to around 10,000 megawatts, probably beyond 2030. And this will require a lot of land acquisitions, which would then be infused to CREIT. So the room for growth is still very vast for CREIT. So that's why we continue to prefer it among REITs.
Okay, I think we have time for only one last question from Regan Lobaton.
Yes.
I think you want to accommodate SCC question quickly lang. Would you advise buying SCC for dividend pay?
Yes. For NCT, siguro, getting dividend play, but in a way na you just ride the trend of the stock, but siguro benta na lang before the X date. Because in the past few X days of the stock, the stock decline, the decline in share price has been larger than the cash dividend. So maybe better to ride the trend, but to sell before the X date because I think there will be a lot of opportunities to come in later on at lower levels again. So ganun lang siguro yung strategy for SEC.
Okay, and finally, welcome back the Coach Herman. Any new insights po on these stocks, East West, IMI, and RHI? So for East West, we have long been positive actually on the stock for a long time since its portfolio, our loan portfolio is mostly consumer loans, and it's the consumer loans really that's been driving loan growth for the past year or so. And the consumer loans for the industry has been growing at double digits for a long time, and even if the other components of loans, particularly loans from adoption, have grown significantly to mid-single digits already. Apart from that, East West still has the highest asset yields among the listed banks, also because the portfolio is focused on consumer loans, which give out a higher yield in exchange for higher risk, since it's most consumer loans are not are unsecured. So also consumer loans are actually usually fixed or take longer to reprice if they were repriced. So this would be medyo parang shielded from the possibility of lower interest rates later in the year kasi mas matagal pa din ang benefit yung high interest rate compared to other banks that have loans that reprice faster. So that's positive for these two.
Can you put the charts?
Sure.
Next was.
Can I show the chart?
Maybe East West. So very nice, selling channel for East West. Recently broke back above the 50-day moving average, so the trend is turned on again in the intermediate term. Some support level is 8 pesos and 80 cents would be an ideal entry level. Yeah, so the trend is up, both long-term trend is up and intermediate term trend is up. So,
Okay, thank you. I think there are 2 stocks left on the Hagen the Buttons question.
RHI.
Okay. For RHI, I think the problem so far for one of the weaker performers among the consumer stocks, and RHI kasi for 2023 has undergone some, I guess, it took some hit when it during the merger of Robinson's Bank and BPI. So they had to take out loans in order to acquire the BPI shares. So I think there were some expenses related to that affecting its net income. And so far for 2024, it's likely to hit its ability to dividend to provide stable dividends if you compare it to the previous year. And then for 2024 as well, we aren't really seeing much drivers for growth for RHI since a lot of its categories have recovered, and if the fourth quarter was any indication, it was pretty much flat. So there isn't really much, I guess, excitement when it comes to earnings for RHI. So I think I can show a chart on RHI.
So RHI is price-wise, it is very much oversold. The most similar pattern would be closer to March 2020. At the moment, I can't really see a pattern for it, except it is oversold. So you have to wait for this to maybe break back above the 50-day moving average to reverse the intermediate trend and test the 200-day moving average. So yeah, it's oversold. Sentiment-wise, and very pessimistic, which is this is good. This is good moving forward.
Well, I guess when we try to provide some insights on RHI, bottom line is continue to prefer other names in the meantime, especially its merger is still ongoing, and I think there's still some volatility when it comes to RHI since BPI provides dividends every fourth quarter, and they are still paying off loans that is affecting them in terms of the interest rate. Okay, lastly, last question for the day and last talk for the day is IMI.
Can we start with
Yeah, I think we can start with the chart first. Or the chart.
Just wait for it to load. It's as oversold as it was also again in April of 2020. There's a very tiny pattern in the bottom of the descending channel. So if this breaks back above, say, 262, it may make a run towards upper end of the channel. But without volume, probably just going to remain the way it is.
From the fundamental perspective, we haven't really seen any positive development on stock. However, for the current quarter, this company might see inflated input costs, especially when it comes to price, due to the conflicts in the Red Sea, because some inventory of the company from China is being transported to Europe. So there might be some inflated price costs from that specific route in the Red Sea. So that should be negative for earnings, at least for Q1. So, but aside from that, we haven't really seen any other developments on the stock.
Although for the Ayala Group, they did, I think it was announced late last week or just this week, that they are divesting its stake in the LRT and MWC. So it sort of bringing some cash for the AC Group. And the reason behind this is, or the rationale behind this is, they're trying to invest more into the businesses that will be profitable for the group in the long term. And I think there could be some speculation that they could be focusing more on its other businesses such as IMI, but we haven't heard anything yet in terms of AC's strategy moving forward, and it's something to watch out for moving forward, especially when they hold their briefing in the next few weeks.
Okay, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for your questions this week. I saw that there are some questions on Athena again. If you can rewind the chat video, we discussed that earlier. And also, if you're already a client of MyTrade and if you're a member of MyTrade Map, you can post your questions there. We answer your queries there as post daily technical analysis charts, which would probably also be to your interest. So, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We look forward to seeing you again in about 2 weeks for the next Beyond Connection session. Any parting words, guys?
Yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you for spending time with us, and we appreciate all the questions. So, see you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Nag-lista ng maraming stuff.